Yeah. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We're just going to do a quick episode this week. We're so lucky we just had Travis Pastrana on.
What's up, Stokers? Chad Kroger coming in with the Going Deep with Chad and JT podcast. Guys, before we begin, I'll remind you once again that we are brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that we're looking fresh and clean. Because lockdown may be, almost over. And when you step back out into the world, you want the world to know that you took care of your pubes. So shout out to Manscaped. Use code GODEEP20 at manscaped.com to get 20% off. GoDeep20 manscaped.com. And we're here. I got my compadre, Jean Thomas. What up?
Boom, clap, Stokers.
And then we're here with the legend, 18-time gold medalist, motocross, rally car, everything, Travis Pastrana. Thank you for coming on.
Dude, thanks a lot. That's the best sponsor to open that up with, man. That's great.
Oh, it's our
favorite. You got to manscape. I mean, I'm married. If there's no manscaping, there's nothing happening there. So yeah, it's good. Good call.
Yeah, that was gonna be my first question. Do you manscape? I guess not at the moment.
I have to, man. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, nice.
That's. Anyway, I'm probably gonna avoid the rest of those questions, but yeah, no, definitely. my wife makes sure that it's
cool.
Well, thank you for divulging as much as you did. We appreciate any intel you can give us on your grooming.
Yeah, I was starting to go down that route. And I thought, you know what? This is not the way I was planning on starting.
Well, you're kind of I've been following you pretty much my whole life, and you've always been kind of an emblem of stoke. I feel like, and our whole thing is sort of like stoke based. So I just sort of wanted to start off with a question of what gets you most stoked.
I think passion, just waking up with something you really want to do, and or be a part of, or just have good people. And at the end of the day, like I realized when I was probably about 16, I had probably the best year of my life as far as if you look at results go. But it might have been one of the loneliest times of my life. Like, I put my head down. I worked hard. My dad was a drill sergeant in the Marine Corps. You kind of grew up that way. If you slept past 7 a.m. on a Saturday, you were a lazy, pile of crap kind of deal. So I started Nitro Circus, and we traveled around the world with our best friends, and now my wife and kids. And we're part of a circus.
Yeah.
It was going to come in quite as much, but at the end of the day, dude, you're with your best friends all the time. It's even the worst day is still freaking awesome,
Right. That's awesome.
I curated a great life.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's like, it's been better than any like accomplishment or race win or anything, just to be able to just have awesome people that are passionate about life, that surround you, that are always positive. And I mean, positive can be very negative as well. Like, dude, you suck. Get up, stop being lazy,
Yeah.
But just let that keep you on your toes.
That's great. Yeah. And so growing up and stuff, did you always have sort of like this competitive drive, and you sort of, did you always have sort of a group of friends surrounding you, or is it something you sort of grew into as you got older, and starting off, you're kind of just lone wolf, I'm competitive, I need to achieve kind of thing?
No, I mean, I guess my dad had 5 brothers. His oldest brother was quarterback for Denver Broncos. My grandfather was Golden Glove boxer in the Navy, and they were all Division I sports. And I was the runt of the family. I got beat up all the time. I couldn't throw, couldn't catch, couldn't run. So I had to kind of show off in the only way I knew how, and that was with a motor or jumping or flipping off the highest object. So for me, that rivalry was more, I just had so many cousins, and they were all more badass than I was. So just trying to fit in, and then realizing I was really durable. So that's super important for action sports.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, are you injured right now? It seems like I went through your list of injuries, and it's exhaustive.
Yeah, no, tell me about it. Shit. I'm sorry. I'm pretty good. I mean, I got to wake up every morning before my kids get up and get in the hot tub and go through my stretches. My oldest daughter, she's in cheer now, so I'm trying to join her through her I can't do anything that she does, but the stretching routine has been really helping out for most of my aches and pains.
Yeah.
As silly as that sounds. Yeah, I always thought we were training her for wrestling and roughhousing and trampoline and stuff. And it turns out we just trained her for cheer. This is such crap, but yeah, it's been interesting. She's a flyer. So, she started flipping on a trampoline when she was like 4. So, I mean, I thought it was action sports, but now it's changed, man. You've changed.
Yeah. Did you watch Cheer on Netflix?
I refuse. Absolutely not. Was it good?
Yeah, it's amazing. Why did you refuse?
I'm just trying not to spend any more of my life than I have to at Cheer. I'm fully supportive of my daughter.
Right. Yeah, I'm not as inundated. So for me, it was like a fun departure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a departure. It's my reality. I'm sure I'll be watching it.
I was kind of curious, how early into a trick, like how early do you know if it's going to go well or not? Like, can you instantly tell from the takeoff?
You can tell before you even take off the lip, you can tell if it's not going to work. With like, you get that, like the speed's right, the power's right, everything. And there's so many chances that you have to mess up a trick on your way through the progression. But it's kind of step by step. If you can take over the mental aspect of like, this is going good or this is going bad, like you just have to hit your steps at the times you have to hit them. So you guys obviously, surf and everything. And right? You're surf?
I surf. Yeah. JT's more a martial arts kind of guy.
Oh, I used to dirt bike though. I mean, never.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Never well. I had an XR70 and a CR80, and then but the power band on the CR80 was too powerful for me, and I couldn't keep up with it, so I retired from it at that point.
No, dirt bikes are fun. They'll put you on your butt. I mean, you have to get used to crashing. Actually, I had a pretty good crash today. I'm still walking, but yeah, it's like if you're not pushing, you don't really. It's not fun anymore. So I try to avoid doing stuff that's too big or too stupid, but that's kind of our nature. So.
But so when you know that the trick's going to go bad, what do you do at that point?
Oh, that's the difference between the guys that succeed in action sports and really sports in general. I mean, it's trying to make the best or worst scenario. Like, think about this. You're in the air. You're doing a 200-foot jump. You're going 80 miles an hour. You're 5 stories up. Now, I can't drop from 5 stories to my feet, and I can't run at 80 miles an hour. So everything's going bad. You're off the side. You get a gust of wind. And you got to make a decision. You're like, if I jump off, I'm going to break both of my ankles at best. If I stay on, and the bike's going to land on me, I might die. I might be paralyzed. I might break my neck. So at that point, most people just freeze. And they're like, well, this is going to suck all the way around. They just don't make a choice. It's the difference of how quickly you can recover and how fast you can get back on is how you can make those last second decisions and find any way to get off in the best way possible. So even when until you hit the ground, you're making those decisions. Like Jake Brown, skater, he went like, I mean, I was on my roll-in for moto, about to drop in for best trick, and the roll-in's 20 foot tall. His takeoff was 10 feet taller than I was, and he was 30 foot above the takeoff. So I'm looking like straight up, and I can just see him, and I can see all this stuff going through his head. He's like, okay, I'm going to flat. I'm going to flat. I mean, he hit so hard his shoes blew off, didn't break a single bone. He was at the after party that night. Like,
I was.
I mean,
oh, whoa.
Probably not the best idea, but it's to be able to make those decisions, be like, all right, how can I make this hurt the least?
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. It's kind of sick, but it's fun too.
When you did the double backflip, how sure were you that you were going to be able to pull it off? And when you hit the lip, did you know, or is it kind of, you were just in the air and hoping for the best kind of situation?
I was about 8 for 10 in practice. We have a foam pit. And I was pretty consistent, but I'd always miss the first one. And I'm like, well, crap, that's the only one I get on race day. So like, I'd be like, pretty much like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was always good. Like perfect. But I don't know if I didn't have I didn't know what was going on. But that was scary. So I basically decided, cause that was interesting. Cause the double backflip day, I was trying to make the switch over to driving cars. And my hero, Colin McRae, was driving on my team, helped me out all the way through. We're running first and second with 1 stage to go, just the super special or the final. My best event is freestyle, and I'm already sitting 3rd. So I had a medal in best trick if I didn't take my last run. So I'm like, shoot, like this isn't really worth it. Like I got so much on the line here for everything else. But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, could I live with myself if I don't try it?
Yeah.
And after you make that decision, it's like just dropped in, and dude, everything went slow. Like I felt like all the way up to the lip was slow motion. I felt like it sounds so stupid, and I'm not one to be like, oh, the energy pulled me through or whatever, but not a real spiritual person. But that was a really cool feeling. Just like, I mean, I'm sure you've had it where time slows down, but usually that only happens after I'm pretty sure I'm going to die or get hurt really bad. Like this happened before I even took off. So
wow.
That was such an interesting time in freestyle motocross. Like it was such like an arms race between you and like Metzger and Carey Hart. And I remember I was paying really close attention to it at the time. And like, so Carey Hart tried the first backflip in competition, right? At the X Games.
Very good. Yep.
And then he kind of bricked it when he landed, but he was like 80%.
He did it. I don't care what anyone says. He broke that barrier. Like it's possible.
Right. That's what I mean. It broke like a psychic wall, but it broke open doors in people's brains where they're like, oh shit, this is possible now. And then from there, it just escalated so quickly. Cause then the next year guys are doing like cans with backflips. And then it was like, and then inevitably it got to you hucking the double backflip, which I think people probably thought was impossible. Like, I didn't think you could do that. Now, did the technology change, or was it just people's mentalities changed, and that's what allowed you guys to get where it got?
I mean, it's all mental. Like everyone said, oh, backflip will never happen. And now literally on dirt bikes, we've had, 12-year-old girls in the foam pit doing backflips. My wife, the first day she ever rode a dirt bike, she got a backflip around to the wheels in a foam pit.
Really?
So, yeah, I mean, she's awesome, like skater, and she's good air awareness. So she was better in the air than she was like getting to the jump. But but in her head, she's seen it and it worked. So that was an interesting thing. Now, when you get to Josh Sheehan's still the only one that's ever done a triple backflip, but he was 100 feet in the air, with a 250-pound dirt bike. Takeoff was 40 foot tall, almost vertical. He only went like 15 feet in distance, landed on a 65-foot tall wooden landing. And okay, that's not even a trick. That's a stunt. That's straight up like one and done. You're not, if you crash it, that's it. But it's possible. And the second he did 3, everyone's like, can you do 4? And you got to think, with enough height and enough time, but it's not necessarily that stuff changes. It's just that you understand how to flip better. And, when I was a kid, I didn't think I was going to have to do a backflip on a dirt bike. That never crossed my mind.
Right. Yeah. Were you upset at all when guys started doing backflips? Because you'd been dominating so much. Were you just like, oh man, why did it have to go in this direction?
Oh no, that was freaking awesome. Like, so Carey did his first one at Gravity Games. 2 weeks later, I tried my first backflip. And really I blame everything on TJ Lavin. I don't know if you know the BMX guy.
Yeah.
One of the best BMX
I know him from
guys.
Real World Road Rules Challenge.
Yeah, that's right. I always forget he's on that stuff too. But yeah, dude, he's like, dude, you guys are sissies. He's like, if I knew how to ride a dirt bike, I'd be backflipping every jump on that track. And he lived in Vegas with Carey. So we went to Woodward together. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, it's heavy. He's like, I don't care how heavy it is. It's physics. I'm like, well, it's not very good at physics. So like, I'll take your word for it, but show me. And Carey did that. And then, then it was kind of 2 years before Metzger kind of came out. And once he did it, it was like, all right, game on. And that separated, like, even guys like Brian Deegan were like, well, crap, like Deegan, Kenny Bartram, Drake McElroy, Dustin Miller. Like, if you look at all the top guys at the time, half the guys started doing flips and continued on to be, dominant in the sport. And the other half just literally retired within the next year. We're like, well, that's it. I'm not willing to take that step.
Wow.
Interesting. How was the transition from motocross to rally cars?
There's a lot to it, but no. So, I mean, my family was construction. So we were always, since I could walk, I was pretty much sitting on my uncle's lap driving, like, before I could even reach the pedals on his Corvette, trying to do, drifts around they call it the shop, just down where they have all the equipment. So we were always driving go-karts and anything we could possibly get our hands on. So I love driving. I got hurt a lot. Every time I was hurt and too broken to ride dirt bikes, I would drive cars and go-karts and everything I could that didn't have such an impact on your wrists and shoulders and stuff. It was also a good off-day activity, and got hooked up with all the guys at No Fear and Spy that actually, like Boris said, and some of the top NASCAR drivers were always out right where I was training for motocross. So it was a cool off day thing and learn without really knowing, learn from the best on a lot of that stuff. So
yeah,
that was cool. Always loved rally. I thought that was the coolest discipline, man. You're going snow, rain, 100-foot cliffs, trees, whatever. It just made the driver really making the best of the worst, sliding everywhere, jumping, flying cars. So always wanted to get into rally, and had the opportunity because a lot of my sponsors in motocross were sponsors for, also they do, like Alpine Stars does all the clothing and stuff. So to answer your question, the hardest part for me wasn't necessarily the driving, but learning how to listen to a co-driver. So when someone's like 300 left 5 over crest max through small gate into turn right 2 max, you're like, what did you just say? Yeah. So learning those numbers, and actually start playing video games. And as silly as that is now, dude, you can learn tracks. I mean, you can learn the Nürburgring, which is like, or Isle of Man, or whatever, Pikes Peak. They're all on video games, and they're pretty freaking realistic. So it's kind of neat now.
Wow.
My first car was a Subaru STI. It was my brother's, and I inherited it. And he had an Apexy exhaust on it. I don't know anything about engines. He's the engineer guy, but I knew how to drive it, and it was so much fun. But my dad thought I would kill myself, so he sold it while I was away.
Probably smart, but honestly, like the all-wheel drive though, you can get in more trouble, but you can get yourself out of more trouble.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus, like it's safer than like a I hope he didn't get you like a smart car or something. That would.
Yeah, no, I mean I was like 17, and I think he was just like, he got me like a Ford Escape. He's like, take this SUV so you can put your surfboard in it. I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, I was bummed to it was a fun car. It was but anyways.
Yeah, I had a Ford Lightning. That was my first car. It's probably the most irresponsible car you could have. Yeah.
How did you get a Ford Lightning for your first car?
I was just a spoiled douche. But my dad, and I think when my dad saw it, because I told him about it, and then I think when he saw it, like I guess for lack of a better word, his cock took over, and he was just like, oh yeah, this thing's badass. And then literally when we drove it out of the dealership, it like tail whipped out. Like it had too much power for the chassis, and it would just fishtail out of every turn. That
was a horrible design in such a great way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was just terribly irresponsible. So fast. I mean, it was a drag racing truck. It was an F-150 you could drag race. Yeah. And actually he got it for me before I turned 16. By the time I turned 16, I had such a heavy foot, he got rid of it because it just, I wasn't going to make it long in that car. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's smart.
Do you drive fast or no? Do you save all your speed for when you're doing it in official capacities?
So yeah, I had similar to your experience. When I was 18, like doing well in Supercross. I bought a Corvette. Was doing about 4 times the speed limit on our local roads, and had a big crash and a wake up call.
Oh no!
So for me, one of a mechanic of one of my friends was in the car, and just like it changed his life for sure. And he has done really amazing and some awesome stuff, but he actually won the Paralympics gold medal.
Oh, nice.
And he didn't tell a lot of people about the story, but he goes, I wouldn't be here without that man sitting in the back. Yeah. Everyone's like cheering me on. I was like, no, he literally wouldn't do that. But no, so at the end of the day, like that was my wake up call. My dad didn't even talk to me for probably, it was a couple months. And just like, dude, like we all made these mistakes, but like we did it in a crappy car. He's like, you gotta figure out that this stuff that you do for fun, you can make a living at it. Awesome. It comes with a high risk, and you keep it onto the track, and there's too many variables that you can't account for on not to bring it real, but if my wife wants to get somewhere fast now, she drives. Cause on the road, I really do the speed limit. So it's crappy lesson to learn, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And because you were the top racer at what, 15, and top motocross guy at 15?
I was probably the best I ever was at 16. Yeah, I had a lot of crashes after
that. Yeah, you had that young, like devil may care kind of attitude. You had no injuries yet to put like the kind of doubt in your brain.
Yeah, well, no, kind of like Matt Huffman said. He goes, Matt Huffman's a BMX legend.
Sure, yeah.
Guys who started X Games. He's like, man, I just wish I had, you know, a body that actually worked. I could be awesome. I'm like, well, you don't have a body that works because you were awesome. But for me, like my healthiest year, I was 16 years old. 2 weeks before the start, I broke my thumb. I raced the first 2 rounds with the cast on, cut the cast off 4 weeks in, won Daytona, got third in the Supercross, went outdoors, broke my wrist, just that small little bone navicular in the wrist, got up, still finished fourth that moto, cut the cast off again 3 weeks later, won Southwick as my first race, then had a concussion, broke my ankle and my foot, and continued racing, won the championship that year. And that was the healthiest I'd ever stayed in racing. So, which is kind of ironic. So you just have to think you're in a lot of pain. For at least I was, because I was not smart enough to know when I wasn't fast enough to win. But at the end of the day, like I learned a lot having a co-driver in the rally car, because I did feel responsible for that person. So instead of just throwing caution to the wind and going, I was actually a lot more successful in cars, probably because having that co-driver, you didn't overstep something that you just knew probably wasn't going to work. And, you know, yeah, you get some thirds, some fifths, some results that you would prefer to do better, but that's what you need to do to get a championship. So as you know, it's tough. It's different, but it's tough.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Guys, I'm interrupting this podcast to let you know once again that we are brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that our dongs are looking fresh and clean. Because listen up, fellas. Today we have a new Manscaped product alert. Manscaped just released the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. Take a look in that mirror, and I guarantee you'll see hairs sticking out of those holes. It's time to keep your ear and nose hair looking as nice as your clean shaven pubes. That is correct. It uses a 9,000 RPM motor powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system, and its intelligently contoured design enhances the trimming experience and is waterproof, which makes for easy operation and cleaning. It's the only nose hair trimmer on the market with a powerful and rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts up to 90 minutes of use. Whoa. 20% off, free shipping, code GODEEPWW at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping at manscaped.com, and use code GODEEPWW. Thank you, Manscaped, for keeping our pubes trimmed and our hairs and our holes looking nice. All right, later.
Were you younger than most of the other guys you were racing against, or was everyone about the same age?
Yeah, so that year, the guy that got second was like 26. The guy that got third and fourth were in the 30s.
Oh, dude, would they be tough on you because you were so young?
No, I mean, I don't know. I was like, there was that respect. I was such a dork, man. I was a straight A student, graduated high school at 15 with a 4.0. Like, just like, I just like loved everything about just, I don't know, work. Like I loved training. I loved riding. I hated to fail. And it was a really interesting kind of time, but I was just such a big fan of the guys I was racing. Like they were trying not to like me, I think, but I was like literally and genuinely like, dude, like a Steve Lamson, can I get your autograph? We're about to go to the start of the first race. He's like, I hate you so much more right now.
Oh man,
so that's good.
So you did the Point Break skydive stunt, and I just had a random question. Which movie do you prefer, Point Break or Fast and the Furious?
Well, you see,
That's a good question.
Point Break was nothing like Fast and the Furious. The second version of Point Break could have been a Fast and the Furious or a copy of that. So if you look back at the original, Keanu Reeves, Swayze, just such a rad cast, and they overdid it like Hollywood always does. But I just thought, the whole vibe of the thing, they kind of like they have got the culture and then just blew it out of the water. But it was a really interesting perspective, and I thought that movie was just absolutely awesome. Where Triple X, I mean, yeah, it's a horrible action film that I would watch. It's like Fast and Furious, you gotta love it.
Right.
What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie. I was just watching A-Team the other day, and I was like, man, this is a really good movie.
The Bradley Cooper one?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got horrible reviews, and it's one of those just bad action films, but
yeah,
dude, I laughed all the way. I just reminded me of that. But I like Grandma's Boy.
oh yeah, that's
I think
great.
that was a pretty funny one. I don't know, what's your all's favorite movie?
Man,
See, it's a tough question. It's a tough question.
It is because
Out
there's
of sight. It's what have I seen recently that I really dug, I guess, is a big point of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Pulp Fiction. I like Clueless. I like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay, you that was a big jump.
Yeah,
from
I'm
Pulp
going
Fiction to Clueless, and then Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That kind of somewhere in between, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to hit. I like Tarantino. I like feel good. Kind of rom-coms and all that stuff. So yeah.
Did anyone ever approach you about making a movie out of your life?
Yeah, I'm not there, man. I just I love to ride. I love to drive cars. Love to have fun. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, you said A-Team, and I was like, why does he like A-Team so much? And then so much of A-Team, though, is planning and executing these elaborate kind of stunts almost. And then thinking about Nitro Circus, I'm like, maybe there's some overlap there. Because, like, part of what blows my mind the most about Nitro Circus is just like, how did they come up with this? Like, did they have a writer's room? And they're like, all right, we're gonna jump a rally car and then have a dirt bike strapped to the top. It's the creativity of it. It really boggles the mind.
You know, when they're flying the tank, I just feel like that's kind of what we do in action sports, like not flying a tank, but like so anyone who hasn't seen A-Team, they get the plane shot down, but in the back of the plane, they've got a tank with a parachute. So they jump in the tank, and then they're trying to shoot down the drones in the tank, and then they see that there's a lake. So they're firing the tank, not at anything, just to move it over to get over the lake. And that's like, I just feel like there's so much of that movie that, yeah, it's so far beyond anything that could actually happen. But if there's a will, there's a way. It's like if the plane, this is a horrible thought, but you always think, hey, if the plane goes down or something, you're like, well, what'd I do? Okay, there's my exits. Like, I don't know if you look for exits when they say look for your exits. I look for the exits every time, thinking, all right, I can jump over those three people, push that person out of the way, and get to this exit. I'm sorry, that's horrible. But, it's just like you always got to have an exit plan. I'm
afraid of flying, so I dig it. Yeah. I always wonder about that. I'm like, what if I just brought a parachute onto every flight? I'd probably be way less scared.
I've brought them onto a lot.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yeah.
Like in carry-on?
Carry-on.
Just in case?
No, if I'm going on a trip where I have a parachute, I'm going to bring the parachute on as my carry-on because there's no point to have a parachute underneath the plane. If something happens, right?
Something happens, you're like, shit, I can't get to it. Yeah.
they come in handy. I just watched Air Force One.
Yeah.
Perfect situation. And you've got your documentary coming out on June 14th, right? It's for your Race to Rebuild.
Yeah. So we had an awesome kind of opportunity. It was, I don't know if you guys ever heard of a guy named Ronnie Mack, but this guy's, he's a fictional character basically that just goes around. He's kind of a partier, and he calls me up. He's actually an amazing racer. Like, he's one of the best in the world, but he always goes out and just goon rides and then beats, like, he goes and wins state championships and everything, just goon riding, and totally as a joke. And it's kind of funny, but some of the industry doesn't like him a lot. But he's like, look, Motocross of Nations is like the Olympics for motocross, and that's going to be held in the U.S. He's like, Puerto Rico, which is a territory of the U.S., you have to hold a passport to ride for Puerto Rico. He's like, Hurricane Maria just came in. He's like, they need funding. They don't have funding for a team. He's like, they're going to not have a team this year for the first time in a long time. He goes, what if we go out? What if we raise funds for that team? And we send that team to the Latin America, basically Motocross of Nations. We go down there, we build a motocross track. We provide some stuff for schools. He goes, if we can raise enough money, we'll put some roofs on some houses. Like, he goes, it'll be a really fun project. But the motorcycle industry, they heard that Ronnie Mack was going to be doing the Motocross of Nations. That's like going to the Olympics as a joke. And it just didn't go over well. So we got this guy, Kevin Windham, who is one of the greatest riders of all time. But he had literally, in 2014, he went off the grid. This guy, he's got a Grizzly Adams beard. he was 230 pounds. So he put on like 40 or 50 pounds since he was racing in 2014. And we only had like 2 months before the event, and called him up, and he's like, I'll do it. He goes, I like the cause. He goes, I haven't ridden a motorcycle in 3 years. Wow. 3 years. And he goes, you expect me to race against the best in the world? And he out-qualified 2 of the 3 of the American team. He qualified 14th quickest out of, so there's 30 nations, each with 3 people. So of 90 of the best racers from around the world, this fat, out of shape, huge beard, Kevin Windham, riding for Puerto Rico with qualifies 14th. And that was like, and then we qualified to top 20 nations go to the main event. And we ended up making it to the main event. We raised way more money than we expected for Puerto Rico, went down, put the roofs on some houses. Most of my friends are construction, so or military. So it worked out really good that everyone just went down and took off time, paid our own way down. And it was pretty cool. And then that project, we filmed it, but it kind of got put on the back burner until the quarantine. And then because we were basically just doing it everyone in their spare time. And, with Nitro Circus, there's a lot of open time available, and everyone put their heads down and got this documentary put out. And it's actually, I'm biased, but I think it's one of the most feel good kind of cool stories. Got enough racing. My kids still were entertained through it. So it's good.
Yeah. I watched the trailer, and it just looks amazing. I mean, it has like the great work that you're doing for Puerto Rico. And then it talks about you guys basically sort of coming out of retirement. To
not
like
basically.
You were saying,
way
coming out of retirement.
We were way too old.
To do
that event.
I can't wait to watch it.
So it's ESPN too, though, which is, and it sucks that X Games got canceled this year, but that it fit in because they're, ESPN came to us, they're like, well, we got World X, we got some spots. We're like, cool, we got something to fill it, and I think it's especially this time right now, man, with everything that's going on, just a little positivity is it can't be bad.
Absolutely,
for sure.
How are you doing on time, by the way? What's you said you have
I'm missing my next conference call, but it's not that important anyway. Be all right.
For real? We
It started 10 minutes ago. That's okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I talk too much.
No, we can let you go. Yeah. But thank you.
Dude, hey, seriously, I really appreciate you guys. Definitely. Thanks for having us on, and hope to come on again when I got a little more time next time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Please do. Yeah. Love to keep talking to you.
Yeah, it's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. See you next time.
I'll see you.
Should we have kept going?
No,
right?
Yeah, I mean, you say a conference call.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if he meant he was going to stay on or not, so I was like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Aaron, what do you think?
I feel like he would have stayed.
Yeah, we should have kept him.
Yeah. I don't know. It's great otherwise, so don't worry about it.
Shit. Yeah. All right. Well, I can turn that around super quick. I can put that out in like an hour.
Yeah, that was fun.